In the previous lectures, you have seen how to display an output to a user in the scripting mode by using the print function. Now you are going to learn something similar to a print function, but before that, have a look at the program that you have written earlier. In this program, I was displaying like my name is Anne and I am 15-year-old. And later I modified this same program by using two variables n and age to hold the name and age. And this was the output that you have seen when you execute the program. In a real programming world, the programmer will write a program, compile, debug and finish the program. Then he will give the program to the user. And thereafter, the user will be continuously using the computer program for their purpose. Assume that you are the programmer and this is the program that you are giving to the user. It doesn't make any sense to display your name and age, but still assume that you are writing this program and you are giving this program to the user. When that is happening, the user will not be able to see or edit the content of the program. That means the user won't be able to see what is inside the program, or the user will not be edit what is inside the program. The only thing that the user can do is just go and execute the program. You will give the program in a file, but that file will not be a readable file. It will be an encoded file. Even if the user opened the file, he will not see anything like this. It will be just some random numbers. In this example, when the user executes this program, he will always see the same name and age that you have hard-coded here or that you have written here in the program. Even though you are using variables, the variable value was assigned directly in the program, and in the actual programming mode, you wanted to change it in such a way that the user should be able to write his name and write his age, then display his name and his age. But as we said earlier, the user will not be able to edit the actual program. Therefore, there should be a way to accept input from the user into the program. And in this lecture, you are going to learn that. In order to accept input from the user, you have to use the input function in Python. This is how you use an input function. Before that, let me delete the first line because we don't want it anymore. And instead of n is equal to Anne, here you should get the name that the user have entered. And instead of age is equal to 15, again here you should get the input from the user. And finally, you will have to display like my name is N and I am -year-old age. This is how you use the input function. N is equal to input and with a pair of bracket. And again, age is equal to input and with a pair of bracket. Save. And before executing that, just understand that when the input function is executed in the program will wait until the user have pressed the enter key in the keyboard. Also, it will return everything that the user have entered before pressing the enter key. To make it more clear for you, first let's accept only one input from the user. So I'm going to comment this line. In Python, you can comment a line by adding a hash symbol at the beginning of the line. So a commented line is a line that is not executed in the program, but still you can write it in the program or keep it in the program. You can assume that that line itself is not present or it is equivalent to deleting the line. But comments are very helpful to add meaningful messages and sometimes temporarily disable some part of the code as well. Again, I'm going to comment the actual output and I'm going to print only name for the time being. My name is N. Now in this program, there are only two lines, N is equal to input and print my name is N. And let's save this program and execute and see what happens. I'm going to execute the program. So you can see that nothing is displayed in the output. So the first line itself in the program is an input. So when that line is executed, Python is seeing an input function and therefore it will wait at that point until the user have pressed an enter key and also it will return everything that the user have typed before he or she have pressed the enter key. Therefore, the user can type his name. Say for example, I'm entering Margaret, and then he or she have to press the enter key in order for the program to continue. So when the user is pressing the enter key, the input function will return whatever the user have entered except the last enter key. So I'm pressing the enter key. So you can see that the output is printing like my name is Margaret. Now I am enabling the whole program by uncommenting this and deleting this one. This time the user should be able to enter two inputs. First is name and next is age, and should be able to see the name and age. So let's save and execute this again. So first it is waiting for the name. Let me give some name. And after that, the next line is again another input function. Therefore, when it is executed, the program will again wait for the user to enter something and press the enter key. This time the user can enter her age, say 14, and press the enter key, and then the output will be displayed with the whatever values the user have entered. While executing this program, you might have noticed a problem with this code. Initially, when the program is executing, it is just waiting for something, and since the user doesn't have access to the program code, when the user will be executing, he or she doesn't know what need to be done. So therefore, ideally, you should give a message to the user to do some action. So here first, if you are printing like, hey user, enter your name. And after getting the name, again you have to give a message to the user like, hey user, now enter your age. And then you can display the output. So let's complete this execution with some random values. And go back to the program and modify it slightly. Initially, just before waiting for the input, you should display a message to the user to do some action like enter your name. You can simply do it by using the print function. So print enter your name, and then wait for an input from the user. After that, after getting the input from the user, again print like enter your age. So then the user will type his age and press enter key. Then the final string will be displayed with the values that the user have entered. And now let's save and execute the program. Clear it. So this time when the program is executed, first it is displaying the message that you have given like enter your name. So I can give any name here. So Annie. And next it is asking to enter your age. So I can give the age 16. And it's displaying the output with the name and age that the user have entered. Therefore, ideally, you should always give an information or indication to the user to do some action before waiting for an input from the user by using the input function. Otherwise, the program will just wait there, and the person who is using the program or the user will not know what to do at that point. Finally, these two steps can be done together in input function. In order to display some message to the user while waiting for an input, you don't need to use a print statement before that. You can do it in a single line by passing the string as an argument to the input function. So here is how we do that. So I am going to pass the same string that I have printed by using the print statement here and pass an argument to the input function and delete this print. Again, I'm going to do the same thing for the next input and delete this print, and this will do exactly the same that you have done previously. When a string argument is passed to the input function, it will display that argument first in the output and then it will wait for the input from the user. So it is equivalent to writing a print statement before the line where the input function is written. So let's save and execute this. It is displaying the string that is passed into the input function, but there is a slight difference with the previous case where you use the print. When you use the print, the output was going to the next line by default. Now here it is waiting in the same line. So here you have to type the name again. And next in the second line, again it was an input function. So it's displaying the argument to the input function and waiting for the user input. Then user can give the input. So I'm going to give the same input here. So it's displaying the output correctly. When the argument to the input function is displayed, it will not go to the next line like the print function. Therefore, at the end of your string in the input function, you can give a space to make it more readable for the user. Probably you can give a space, give a colon and give another space. This whole string is displayed first, then whatever the user have entered will be coming only after this. Again, I'm going to modify this and save. Now if I am executing, so you can see that now when the user is typing the input, it will be more readable. And therefore, don't forget to add a space at the end of the string in the input string so that it is displayed nicely in the user interface.